Now, the former broadcast journalist Vanessa Govender released a memoir that details some of the horrific things that she endured during her 5-year relationship she's had with her former lover that started when she was just 22 years old. Now, this heartbreaking book is titled Beaten But Not Broken and contains a narration of the brutal cycle of abuse. She also shares the gruesome details, the many incidents that she was humiliated, struck and left broken. Well, Vanessa joins me now via Skype from Cape Town to tell us more about what's in this offering. Vanessa, a very good morning to you and welcome to Morning Live.
Good morning, Simpiwe. Thanks for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure. Now, before we get to the crux of the book, what prompted you to write it?
You know, a lot of people ask what was the inspiration, and I don't think it was so much inspiration as more as it was a burning desire to finally be able to speak my truth, to speak about my experience. We live in a country where you know what the statistics are like. Women are being raped every day, women are being assaulted every day, women are dying at the hands of their partners every day. So for me, I got out, barely got out. And it was more a case of I lived to tell the tale. And I have a moral and social obligation, not just to my community, but to women all over this country, to speak my truth, to stand up, to say, this is what happened to me, this is how I got out, that there is hope. So it was more a desire to get this out. It was more an overwhelming desire to break the stigmas, to break the stereotypes, and to say to women, whether they're still stuck in these relationships or whether they've gotten out, that it is quite okay to stand up and own your truth. The shame and the fear is not yours. So that would have been the sort of driving force behind me spending the better part of 4 years writing Beaten But Not Broken.
And I suppose that we should be very grateful that you came out alive to tell that story so you can inspire and give hope to so many women out there who are going through the very same position that you went through at that particular point in time. You also say that the dark moments in your life started after you moved from Joburg to Durban. Take us through that moment.
Well, I started off at the SABC as an intern in 1999. I was part of a of a hand-picked group of journalism students from around the country. So I had stars in my eyes, and I finally, fresh out of tech, got my foot into the door of one of the biggest broadcasting companies in South Africa. So you can imagine, to a young girl who's come from a very impoverished background, whose parents were virtually uneducated, what an absolute dream, what an absolute privilege this was. So I got transferred back to the Durban office mid-1999. And it was in December that year that I actually met my partner, who happened to be a very popular, well-known presenter on Lotus FM, which you will know, or maybe some of your viewers will not know, is a radio station owned by the SABC, which caters to a predominantly Indian audience. And this is where I met my partner. And, you know, there were so many moments before that transfer had gone through where I'd had the opportunity to say, I don't want to go back to Durban. I quite like Joburg. I'm finding my feet and I want to stay here. And it's a question that had plagued me for years thereafter. What if? What if I had fought hard enough to remain in Joburg? Would this have happened, or would I have just been postponing the inevitable? You know, people believe in destiny. People believe, you know, things are meant to happen and they will find a way of happening one way or the other. And I suppose if you've been through what I've been through and you've experienced what I've experienced, these are the sort of questions that will always torment you, right? What if? But yeah, I ended up back in Durban, and I was at the SABC from 1999 until mid-2005, which is when I quit. And it was shortly after quitting that I actually found the courage to end that relationship, because we both worked in the same environment. Breaking up was always easy. You know, we'd have a fight, there'd be a violent encounter, I'd break up, he would find a way of apologizing or begging me to take him back. And because we were seeing each other every day within the confines of this environment, it was difficult to actually walk away. You know, that coupled with the fact that everybody knew we were together. And I come from a very conservative community. You don't just have relationships with people and it
Yeah.
doesn't end up somewhere.
Vanessa, you did not name your abuser in this book, and but you also did mention that he worked at the SABC, and I suppose that you may be fielding so many accusations from people saying that you are protecting the abuser, but I think you treaded very carefully with regards to that.
I'm grateful and I'm glad that you've asked this question because I think it begs clarity. It needs clarity. Firstly, let's just get this out of the way. I was in this situation by myself. I fought my way out of the situation by myself with no help from anybody. It has taken me over a decade to sit down and write down what happened to me. And I find it outrageous that people think they have the right to bully me into revealing the identity of this person. This is my narrative. This is my story. Firstly, I did not want to give this monster oxygen, breathing space, acknowledgement on the pages of my book. I do not want his name next to mine. This book's going to be here long after I'm gone. I do not want to give him that sort of power. Call it literally license or poetic justice or whatever. This is me stripping him of his identity, stripping him and reducing him to nothing, which is what he is, right?
All right.
But that's the poetic part of it. Obviously, there were issues around, I did not want to get involved in some sort of court interdict. To put you into perspective, Simpiwe, the weeks leading up to the release of the book were actually the lowest points of my life. I was very suicidal. I was in no position to have a confrontation with this man if it ever came
Vanessa,
down to it.
I wish we had more time. Unfortunately, we don't have much time on our side. But then I must salute your bravery and for standing up to your rights. Thank you so much for chatting to us this morning.
Thank you.
Well, that's former broadcast journalist Vanessa Govender, and she joined us via Skype to speak to us about a brutally honest memoir she entitled Beaten But Not Broken. Well, you can also join us for our Sunday book feature to talk about some of the books that you're currently reading or have read. Whether you're a lone reader or belong to a certain book club, just send us some of your favorite picks. All you have to do is to email, to Facebook or tweet us a picture of the book with a relevant caption by using our social media platforms. You can use our Twitter handle at Morning Live SABC or hashtag Morning Live SABC. You can also tag or send us a Facebook message on our page. That's Morning Live SABC, or simply send us an email on morninglive@sabc.co.za. Let's take a short break.